Good evening, everyone. Oh Lord, I'm laughing because we had a different perspective with my mother about this topic that I want to talk about. I hope you're okay. Welcome back to my channel. Welcome back to Coroni. Yes. Hey, bringing content, it's not easy. It's not easy at all. You don't know what to talk about. Tonight I want to talk about, is it important to date or to marry your type? With an understanding that when you date, your intention is to marry. Not this thing that we do, that we date for the sake of dating. No, with the intention of marrying. And the question that I was asking myself and was pondering in my mind, in fact, I was not asking myself, was that, is it important? Is it important? Is it vital? Does it matter to marry your type? What do I mean when I say to marry or date your type? As an individual, I think you need to understand who you are, what makes you tick, what makes you get interested in things, what excites you and everything. It can be physical, it can be socially, it can be psychological, it can be physical, it can be spiritual. What makes you to be connected to someone. But one thing that I think we tend to overlook is that when you don't marry your type, you end up the other one depending on the other one for happiness. You feed on each other on 20%, and the other 80%, the other one gets it somewhere else or outside. Let's talk about physically. There are men who like slim girls. They like slim girls, maybe with beautiful legs. And you find that he will go for a girl who is big like me, fatty boom boom like me. And it's not really his type that gets him excited. The problem is that when a girl that he likes, the type that he likes, when that girl passes, he's gonna look, because eyes, they look. It's the same thing as women, and this is one thing that men don't realize. It's not all men tend to think that women don't care about the physicality of a man. But I've heard so many times women complaining when their spouses have gained the tummy, and the tummy is big, and the women are no longer happy. If you are a man, you know that you like a woman with big breasts and everything, and you go for a girl who is flat-chested. It means that somebody who's wearing that DD, when they pass, you're gonna look, because naturally that's what you like. And let's also talk about, you are a social person. You like to explore. Let's say you like to travel, you like to try new things, and you go and marry somebody who's a homebody, who is happy being home and being seated at home. And what that usually do is that the other one will go and have life outside, and the other one will be homebound, and usually the one who's homebound will be frustrated and unhappy, because he or she is waiting for this other one to be close to her or him, because their happiness, they expect the person to be here and be homebound. It is so important to marry your type. It is the same thing as this other one, like he's a church buddy. You love church, you attend everything in church. This one, the other partner that you married, they don't care about church. Even if they pray at home, they do things at home, they don't attend. So this one is the type that want to attend this conference, the Easter conference, the women's conference, the men's conference, the couples conference, and whatever. And what that happens is that when you find in the church that this other one goes, and you find that there's a married seminar, let's take an example. This other one has to be dragged to be part of that, because they don't have interest. But this one will have to beg this one who doesn't have interest in church things to say, let's go, and even bribe them. And when they get there, they will be sulking because it's not what they like. They're not interested. You know yourself. I'm not saying a doctor must marry a doctor. That's not what I'm saying. But there are people that, there are those people that when you meet them, you can talk about culture. You can brainstorm about what is happening in the world. Now we're talking about corona. We're talking about vaccine. But you got a partner who is satisfied by having a salary, having a job, and they eat and they sleep and they have kids. That's it. There's nothing more that they bring. They won't fulfill you emotionally, psychologically, the brain wise. They can't feed you. So what end up happening? You end up finding a friend outside or whatever who will understand you. That because when you've got hunger for knowledge, when you have hunger for such engagement, and when you are not getting it, it's like you are being starved. It's like your brain is being starved. It is a problem. That's why you find that partners, I'm not saying all the time, partners who do things together, I'm not saying everything, partners who've got similar interests, who do things together, they have more fun together, and they stay longer together, and they stay longer together without another one being resentful, without another one being angry, and not staying together for the sake that I want to be married and I want to be in a relationship. Why do you do that to? Why do we do that to ourselves? You know this person, you met this person, you look at the package, you hear their mind, you hear their thinking, you hear their heart, and it doesn't correlate with who you are, and you want to be with them. You date them and you want to marry them, but the calculations are not adding up. The calculations are not adding up. That's why sometimes us who are outsiders will say, you find that the man is, he's physically fit, he goes to gym, he exercises. You find the wife doesn't care. She's just looking all over the place. Or it's the same. The wife is looking snatched. She's to do, she runs, she takes care of her skin, whatever. This other one don't care. They don't care if he takes the towel and wraps himself. He doesn't care if he's got a cracked bum when he goes out and they, Vasalon. Life is so short. It is the same with friendship. It is the same with friendship when you find that you need to ask yourself, what is it that attracts you to your friends? Ask yourself, what is it about this particular friend that made me to be friends with this person and attracts me? And is it sustainable? Is it sustainable now? We need to know ourselves. We need to know ourselves and what makes me happy. What makes me happy? It's like me being a big girl. How do you go and then you date someone and then they're always talking about, hey, you need to lose weight. Hey, hi, you need to wear size, smaller size. Hey, do you understand that thing? That person is going to frustrate you. I need to date and marry somebody who loves me in my totality, who loves my rolls on the waist, who loves my thunder thighs, who loves my big bumps and whatever. Not somebody who will be like, hey, don't you think you are too big now? What do you understand what I mean? You become, there's a word in English, they call it discord. I think it's discord relationship. I think they use it usually when they're describing couples where the other one is HIV positive and the other one is negative. There's a name that they use. It is a problem. Marriage needs to be enjoyed. Relationship needs to be enjoyed. Now you are the one, you are always proposing. You are always planning. This other one is just seated. You have to drag them along. You know that what makes you resonate with your mind. This person doesn't have interest. I'm not saying if you're an academic, you need to marry academic. That's not what I'm saying. There are a lot of intelligent, wise people who really didn't go to school, but they are intelligent. And sometimes people who didn't go to school, they're not even wise. They just copy what they've studied. But when you speak to them, there's not the depth is not there. And you ask yourself, how did this person manage to get all these qualifications? But what I'm saying is that we do injustice to ourselves. We do injustice to ourselves by looking at this person, and you realize this person is not really my type. And my type, it can be physical, it can be psychological, it can be social, it can be spiritual, it can be any how you can think of. You know what gets you excited about a partner. You know what kind of friendship with that friend, that when you are with them, what gets you excited. But I think we don't really think about this issue when we marry. We don't really think about this issue when we date. Anyone who comes along, or that time, we marry out of loneliness. We date out of, I also want to have someone. You have to look at that person and put them in a box and put them in your future and try to compart them, their being, if they're gonna be compatible with you. I'm not saying people who are in a relationship or in marriage need to be similar. I'm not saying that in everything. I'm not saying you have to have the same thinking and everything. I'm not saying that. It's a problem. You see women, they go on trips alone. I'm talking about women who are married or women who are in relationships. They are going on trips alone. Where are their husbands? I'm not saying women cannot go on a trip alone, but it has become so common that women are married, but they're living single life because their partners are nowhere to be found. Their partners are having another life separately. We do injustice to ourselves by marrying what doesn't resonate with who we are and what doesn't, and sustaining such thing, it is going to be very, very difficult. There are certain cars that are known that they are difficult to have. The maintenance is difficult. Some, that the parts are difficult or expensive. Some, we know that their parts, the car is reliable and it's easy to find and it's very compatible with other cars. But there are certain cars that it's just a nightmare to have. It's just a nightmare to have. So you need to ask yourself, those who are married, ketile, it's too late. But you can change that. You can change that. As human beings, we evolve. You cannot remain what you were yesterday and you are still the same. Do a stock take on yourself and your partner and your relationship or your marriage. You see there, you are always waiting for somebody to make you happy, or you end up finding your happiness somewhere else because you get frustrated and you find happiness in friends, in this and this and that, and you end up also sometimes getting that satisfaction and happiness outside your relationship, which is wrong, and start to have an affair. So all I'm saying is that those who are not married, those who are dating, don't date for the sake of dating. Can you have conversation with this person? Can you travel from here to a distance if there's no TV and you guys get along, or it's gonna just be quiet? Do you have a relationship outside the bedroom, outside the dancing? Do you have a healthy relationship as a married couple besides the bedroom? Are you friends? Why will you want to marry someone that you are not friends with? Why will you want to marry someone that you don't miss that much, that even when they know your rhythm, even when they know who you are, they can feel your vibe, they can feel your soul? And I'm not saying there's nobody's perfect. There's nobody's perfect, and there's no perfect relationship in this life. And we must never chase perfection. Chasing perfection, you'll be miserable in your life. But what I'm saying is that be conscious of who you are and be clear who you want to date so that you marry and can have a life with. You know, when you see a couple in church or in a function or wedding, you can see couples that they love it. You can see couples where they are not friends. They are bounded. They are bounded because their husband, there is no friendship. You are in a relationship, but there's no friendship. You are married, but there's no friendship. Where? I don't know how you guys do it. I marry with a purpose. Marry with a purpose. Just think about this thing, that this person I'm gonna date, and my intention is to marry. You cannot have decent conversation with this person. You cannot wake up when you can't sleep at 3 a.m. and you talk about things. Even if you are talking about silly things, you talk about your childhood, you talk about your past, you talk about this and that, you gossip as a couple. Huh? The other one doesn't get excited. Yo, love, I saw this. Let's try this. It's just the other parent just know that I'm wasting my time to even try or to suggest. Yo, people of the South, you know, we put ourselves in prison. We put ourselves in prison. In relationships, in marriages. So I'm saying, I don't think it's late, even for those who are married. And we tend to think that to have a good time with your partner, you need to have a lot of money. There is no such thing. You want to go to expensive... No. Even taking walks. Take walks together. If you are people who love music, play music together. You know, play around. Hey, baby, have you heard this song? Have you heard this? What? There's this thing that... What do you think of this? Sure. It's like you are involved with it's a bishop involved with a Shebin queen, or a prison warder with a prisoner. Hey, hi guys, we really need to think about it. We really need to think about it. And remember, I said there is nothing that is perfect in this world. Even those couples who do things together, who've got similar interests, whatever, together, they will never be perfect. Even those who've got similar, you know, their thinking, their beliefs are the same, they're in the same. Nothing is perfect. I'm not talking about perfection here. I'm not talking about that. But I'm saying you need to be with somebody that awakes in your spirit, man, who makes you live, who get you excited. And you get excited to be with them. You don't do it out of duty. You don't... I hope you get me.